just start with a little bit of loosening up. And just keep everything nice and loose. And just feel the weight sinking into the ground. Okay, and side to side. And in this case, just also play with the weight kind of sinking into one leg. So that the whole weight of the body is just going to kind of slide over one leg. And then the other foot's nice and loose, nice and light. That's it, good. Okay, and then take it into a rotation. In this case, just start nice and small. And then just start to open the movement out a little bit more. This is really working with a kind of spiral. Let the hips really sink into the ground. And that's it. Okay, and lastly, just working with a movement through the whole spine. So we look for a wave through the whole spine. Again, start with kind of small movements. And then just going past the movement through the whole body. So connecting from the ground to the hips and then into the spine. Just keep the arms nice and loose, just follows the body. Okay, we just from here, stretching up, nice deep breath in through the nose. And release it, bending the knees, keeping the length in the body all the way to the ground. Breathing out. Also let the head release at the end. Follow the body up, and then really work vertebra by vertebra. Draw the body up, and stretch and lengthen again. Breathing in and out. And calling up. Good. And just one more. Stretching up. Okay, good. We just start with the head, just stretch it down to the to the chest. And then up. So stretching up and also back. Good. Into the left side. To the right. Over to the shoulder. And the side. And then just using the hands, basically close down to the body. Just a little bit more weight. From here, open everything out, bringing the elbows pointing up to the sky. Just stretching back a little bit. And again, closing down. And then opening up. Good. Good. Just working the shoulders. And forwards. And just alternate backwards. Bring the hips in. Good. Okay, stretching up one side. And taking the weight over. And again, the other side. Stretch right up, lengthen, and bend. And again. Okay, just working the hips, nice big circles. And the other way. Look in the knees. And the other way. Okay, stretching them back. And bending down, forwards. And back. And again, down. Bring it a little bit wider. Using the hands on the knees and just twist through the body. Get nice and loose to start. And then stretch all the way, looking over the shoulder, straightening the arm. And change sides. And again. And again, the other side. Okay, just sink the body down. You can get the hands into the ground, keeping the heels on the ground. And in this case, just use the elbows, or depending where you are, also the forearm. Just increase the pressure against the legs, so pressing it out. Press out. So, good. And release it. Back. Okay. Just with the legs here, just working side to side. Keep it nice and loose, and really both feet connecting into the ground. Nice and strong. Just trying to loosen the hips a little bit. Good. And then just hold one side, straightening one leg fully, and bending the other. Good. And the other side. Okay, and come to the other side. And if you can use the hands, touch down to the foot, and just lengthen. Keep the legs, keep the body, the weights nice and low, and the hands forward. Good. And then change the side. Stretch down here. Good. And then using the hands into the ground, coming all the way down. Bring the toes up. And changing sides. Good. Okay, nice and wide. Just extending both knees, both legs back. Hands on the same line. Good. And now if you can just bring the elbows down into the ground and let the head release, relax into the arms. Forward. And then if you can take the arms behind the back, you're going to clasp the fingers together and then stretch through the shoulders. Good. Okay, bring the hands back. Okay, let's go this way. So in this case, just bring the feet together. Just here, hands and feet together. And just work the heels back into the ground. So just like you're pressing the heels. And you stretch through the hamstrings. Good. And then nice and slowly, just bringing the knees up and down. Up and down. Up, down. Good. Just stretch back a little bit. Stretch through the shoulders, as if you're pulling the feet and the hands apart. Stretch at the hips. Hold it. And then either walk the hands towards the feet or the feet towards the hands, depending on what you like. Just come up here. So the hands are near the feet. If you can, touching the ground with the legs extended. Relax through the head. Pull the body back up, and then just take one leg back so that they're on parallel lines. If you can, with the back heel down. Weight nice and centered. And change sides. Good. And change again, just bringing the knee down to the ground. Yeah. The foot flat and just stretch forward into the hip. That's it. Good. And then change it. Good. And then again, just come into the same position. Here, stretching forward, and then what you're going to do is use the back hand, just spiral over. You can also use the other hand in the ground. Just create a spiral through the body, and really try and feel it in the back hip. Try and really strip through this whole line of the body. So use the weight of the body to also increase the stretch. And nice and slowly release it and change the foot. And just do the same. Come into the stretch. Use the backhand, spiral over. Use the other hand as a support. Open the body up. That's it. Go nice and slowly out. I'm just going to back up. Okay, you just do just a few for the shoulders, so just stretch over the front and hold it. And keep the shoulders nice and low. Good. And changing sides. That's it. Good, good. Okay, come over the top. You're going to take the wrist, hand up, and as if you're pulling the bicep back past the back of the head. You can either hold this one or do this in kind of repetitions, depending on how it feels. Do that and then change sides. Take the wrist. Okay, then taking the elbow, hand into between the shoulder blades. Good, and then changing side. Good. Okay, taking the wrist again and drawing across the back. And again, you can do this kind of in repetitions or just hold it. And then change side. Good. Okay, clasping the fingers behind. Stretch up, open the chest. In this case, feel like you're pulling the chest away from the hands. The hands pull back and the chest pushes forward. Good. Okay, hands just clasping the front, just for the wrist. Nice big circles. If you can, keep the contact with the palms. That's good, good, good. That's good. Okay, and then just for the fingers, so you're going to straighten them out nice and fast. Do about 50. You straighten them and pull them back. That's it. Good. Good. And then you do the reverse. You're going to close the fist, and in this case, really with a focus in the bottom two fingers, a bit like when you use the sword. So really, again, nice and fast, opening and closing the fist. That's it. Good. 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 Okay, shake the wrist out here. And kind of horizontally, like this. Okay, and then just take the hands like this. So you're going to shake them out this way, which is a bit strange one. Shake them out this way. Good. Okay, dropping the arms, circling the arms. In this case, it's a bit easier if you slightly lean the weight of the body forward, so you can kind of release the shoulders, and then just release them. Work them in circles. Sorry. Good. And then just work the whole body. Good. Okay, take a Bokken. Good. Okay, so we just start nice and basic, just shoulder width apart. And you just want to find the back and then just sink the body down. Really just work through the cut this way. And really in this case, just focusing on the hips and the weight really pressing into the feet. So you should feel really nice and solid at the end. And just take your time at the end, let the Bokken fall to the ground and really just allow the weight to just drop into the feet. So there's kind of 2 points to this exercise. One is really establishing a really clear arc through the cut that's not being disturbed by the arms. And the second is really to drain the weight of the body down into the ground. Without pushing into the ground, what I want to just is feel that the weight just sinks down. And especially being aware of the back of the body and the weight just dropping into the ground. Into the ground. Yeah, good. No. Okay, good. The other thing you can do in this is also about connecting the body. So there's different ways to connect the body, but we'll just look at it this way. The first one is just think about the hands and the feet. So just really try and connect the feeling in the feet and the feeling in the hands. So as the hands really rise, the feelings, the feeling of the weight rising up, lengthening through the body, and just really being aware of the feet. And then really get a sense that as you initiate the handwork, it's really going to come from the feet. So think of a press from the feet, or press into the feet, and then a rise up. As you rise up, press into the feet, and the hands rise up. Just, you can do it on a level of coordinating the body, the hands and the feet, but also it's just on a feeling. So I want to really feel that the hands and the feet work together. And in this case, I'm going to prioritize the footwork. So the feet are low, they've got the connection to the ground. But just feel the hands and the feet, just the connection between them. That's okay, good. Nice. Good. Good. And then the second connection, think about the elbows and the knees. So in this case, think again, it's the same coordination. Think as the knees work, the elbows are also going to move. So there's flexion in the whole body. So one of the issues with this is either the knees are kind of locked and or the arms are locked. So there's a sense of the elbows being kind of locked in these kind of positions. So in this case, really allow the elbows to flex, especially as you rise up through the sword. There's a kind of flexion in the elbows.
And of course, always flexion in the knees. So the knees are always slightly bent and really with a sense of freedom. So just think about the connection between the feet, between the knees and the elbows. And in this case, there really is a sense as you go, the elbows get dragged down. So again, it's trying to prioritize the lower part over the upper. So in this case, the knees have priority over the elbows. Just try and establish a kind of feeling, connection between the two. And they should feel nice and free. There's no point where the elbows lock or the knees lock. Even when you're stretching up this way. That's it. So nice. Good. And in this case, just come into a place, finish up. This is also good to kind of connect the feeling of the elbows. And in this case, I just want to place the weapon. I don't choose any kind of force out. So there's no sense of force out. I just want the sense that the elbows are going to drop down. So in this case, working with the connection to the knees, the sense of dropping the body down, placing the sword, and the elbows just sink down without pushing out this way. Just feel the connection here. Yeah. You do this really, really slow. And it's as if you're kind of placing the bokken onto a table in front of you. So, that's, yeah, good. Nice, nice, nice. In the case of the knee, it's a kind of funny joint. We tend to think of the knee just as the front of the thing. So there's a tendency to use the knee in a way that's always to the front. But just bring your awareness to the back of the knee and have the sense that the movement's going to come from the back of the knee. So without the feeling of the knees kind of basically coming forward of the toes, just have the sense that the knee's going to kind of move from the back, and just bring your kind of awareness to the back of the knee. So as you do this, the sensation is here. Yes. And without kind of coming into the front of the knee, where the body's going to kind of lock. Yeah, that's it, good. Nice. Very good, good, good. Good. And then the third connection is the shoulders and the hips. This is the main connection, the big connections in the body. So again, the same kind of movement. Just start by placing and just be really conscious of the shoulders, the hips. And again, the priority goes to the lower part. So allow the hips to really guide the shoulders. Especially as you're in this position where you're going to sink the body. Really think about the hips sinking and the shoulders follow. As if the shoulders kind of slot into the hips. So the hips sink, the shoulders slot in. Hips sink, shoulders go. Keeping the shoulders again nice and relaxed, back. Just think also kind of back and down with the shoulders. Okay, good. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. That's so great. Very nice. Yeah, there we go. Good. Okay, good. And then just basically come into the first submarine position, so you're in the right side forward. And again, just work through these levels, bringing the feet in, just sinking through the cup. Sinking through the cup. Going back, placing the sword. Placing the sword. And then the last one now is just to come and finish. So bringing the handwork into it. The hips forward, and really coming into a sense of finishing. And with the finish, really now just have the sensation the whole body's gonna work together. So you've got all these individual parts, trying to connect them up and then really get them to kind of function together. And just notice in this case, as soon as you come into the focus, there's really a tendency for the upper body to start to dominate. So there's really a tendency, it's almost automatic that the upper body starts to create the movement, and that the lower body's it's like the lower body's trying to catch up. It's a bit like those old cartoons where Roadrunner often, where the legs are kind of separating from the front of the body. So basically all the attention's in the front and the upper body. So just really keep the feeling of focusing strong and really a strong finish, but really get a sense that the lower body's really the priority. So there's really these two kind of moments when I raise the sword and when I initiate the cut, and really just get the feeling that these are being motivated from the lower body. Just notice as soon as the upper body starts to take over, this is where you start to lose the balance to the front. And this is a great thing about the sword, because it's constantly challenging that ability to ground and use the lower body. The weight of the sword's pulling you forward all the time. That's it. Yeah, good. That's it, nice. Nice. Good, good. Okay, good. And the big difference now between this and the kind of exercises we started, where the hips are kind of square on and you're just kind of sinking the weight down. And in a way, this is really easy because the connection's just across the body, it's just sinking the weight down. But now what you're really doing is engaging the hips. So you're really going to now engage the hip. Try and get the feeling. What we tend to do is use the hips like a kind of block. So they kind of move as one block together. But really think that the hips are really independent. So the hips move independently this way. So in this case, just really try and create a sense of flexibility in the hips. And in this case, just bring your kind of awareness into the hips, plural, both of them moving. And they work together, but they're independent. They don't kind of move as a block. So just think about, especially as you make the cut, really engaging the hip. So the front hip's really going to have the sense of pressing in, and the back hip's going to have a sense of stabilizing to the rib. So one presses in, and the other really just stabilizes. That's it. Good, 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 good. Nice. That's great. Good. Okay, and again, just to work this idea, you're gonna just find the back. Think of this like number 4 just on the spot. So you're gonna find the back and then just sink the hips down. And really now just focus on the hip work and the change of the hip. So cutting both sides, find the back, draw the body down. Find the back, draw down. Good. Yeah, great. Good. Okay. So now just work with steps. Just do basically one cut at a time. So just from here, reach the back, step in and really ground the body down this way. And then from here, you can either change sides or do whatever you like. But just basically do one step and one cut. Reach the back, ground the body down this way. So now you've got the added really problem of in a way of the body really moving forward in the space. And really trying to get a sense of grounding the hips. You feel nice and solid as you make the finish. You can do left side or right side. Okay. Really. Nice. Okay, good. So this is also really, in a sense, just think of this really as kind of hip work. So again, just be aware of the hips. If I use the hips as a kind of block, as one unit, there's a tendency for this kind of thing to happen. I start to kind of, oh, I can't do it. Wait, like this. You're gonna basically swing the hips. Basically, oh, I do like this. It's like using the hips like this, fixed, and you basically swing out the hip this way. So it's like using the hips like this, swinging the hips. But in this case, think the hips again. They work independently. This one's here, and this one flexes through it. So there's really a sensation of this. So the hips are really kind of flexing through the movement. There's the front one's really that has a feeling of folding, and this hip then has a sense of swinging through it. Think of the hips like a gate, but if I use it like a kind of, I don't know, like a block, it's gonna really affect the movement. And the key is that it's not kind of wrong, but I'm basically dissipating my force. It's starting to swing out as I go. And what I want to do is just have the force forward. So just think about the hips basically I'm gonna allow the front hip to open, to allow the back hip just to swing through this way. And then I lose no kind of sense of focus. Just forward. Yeah. Yeah, and this is easier without the sword as well. That's it, good. Nice. Okay, good. Nice, nice. Great. Okay, good. So we'll just work with 2 cuts, now working with the yokomen. So what you're going to do now is, again, is let the sword move circularly, and then come to this position. And then from here, just find another cut on the right this way. So just starting right side, come back. You're going to cut on the left side, yokomenuchi, and then the right side, yokomenuchi, like this. Yeah? Just give it a try. You're going to go 1, 2. And really ground the body after each cut. 2, yokomenuchi. That's it. No, that's it, nice. Yeah, good. Good example, good. Okay, now just watch, because there's a feeling I need to do something, and now I'm doing something extra, so now the sword's coming around in a circular way. There's a feeling that I need to do that with the shoulder, so there's a tendency for the first movement to happen is this. There's a kind of this and then this, so there's a kind of tightening in the shoulders, because the shoulders think I need to do something. But in this case, just let the hips create the movement. And think, in this case, the shoulders just release down. So think the hips go, and then the shoulders keep basically released down. I never really want to work in a position where the shoulders are kind of shrugged up. It basically compromises the weight being drained down. So just get the sense that from here the hip goes, and then the hands follow this way. And the shoulders always kind of remain relaxed and down this way. Just really focusing on this very first moment, hips, and into the body this way. That's it. That's it. Yeah, good. Nice. Very calculated.
Michael, short question.
Oh.
Last Saturday we had class from Brandon. We did TakeMusu Tachi, and I was struggling a bit with the open or closed hand above the head to control the sword. So instead of this, I'm not sure. Can you see this?
Yeah, go ahead. Got it. Oh no.
this as open position.
Yeah, got it.
Like this, or just slowly wrapped around it.
Yeah, you can basically. Quick question. Oh, good. Think of the handwork. It's going to kind of scissor. I think of it kind of scissor through. What's the move in Kimusubi? Right side, left side, this way. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So it goes this way. So I think actually both hands are going to kind of be very relaxed on the sword. The tendency, what I tend to do is really open the hand to keep it very open. And then it's going to be actually very free. Then in a sense, what that gives me is a sense of that I can do this really fast later.
Yeah.
I don't want any sense that the right hand's going to kind of grip the sword. Yeah. There's a kind of tendency, even if I have the grip, even
it's not free to move.
Yeah, even lightly, it's going to kind of block. It's going to kind of restrict that movement into this kind of position. So what I want to do is actually keep that actually very loose in a way. So in a sense, it's got this kind of scissoring because it's like the hands basically scissor onto it. So my tendency is to keep it very, very relaxed, kind of super relaxed, kind of opening the fingers this way. And actually the sword's basically, this also means the sword's basically resting in the palm of the hand.
Yeah, it's still in the palm. It's not completely free.
Yeah, it's not free. It's not that I'm kind of releasing the. So actually, what stays is that contact. Yeah. That contact's actually there's a kind of constant in the movement that way, and then coming into it, and then it's just focused down onto it. So it's, my tendency is to keep the hands loose. Loose is better than tight. Loose is better than tight.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Good.
Don't worry, Bernie, I've had exactly the same thing from Brendan.
Yeah. Yeah, I was struggling with it as well because it forces you to become very tight on the sword, and that actually goes down to the shoulders and everything.
Yeah.
Because you're moving in a different way.
Yeah. I actually want I've heard this from some teachers before that I won't mention. Especially in the first subgroup, there's a kind of, I know one teacher especially, he says, well, I'm not talking about another teacher, but in this case, some people will say, you shouldn't release the hands in this position. You should keep the grip, but it's impossible to keep the grip and not really tense the shoulders up into this position.
Yeah.
The point of this is really to release the grip. So that training in the first degree to find the back is really about releasing the grip of the sword, and then just tighten it. The basic rule is that the sword's in movement. It's really the hands are very loose on the sword.
Yeah.
So there's always a tendency in the sword work to over grab, or basically to have the hand.
Yeah, to keep the tension in your hands and not allow the sword to move freely.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to really keep the contact, but I want to really, obviously, I'm coming into only really into the grip on the sense of cutting in the impact, and the rest of the time, the hands are very loose on the sword.
Yeah.
Otherwise, my connection's just blocked totally. So, and I lose a kind of speed with it.
Okay, thanks.
Quick question. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Oh, yeah. Good. Okay, so we'll just finish with number 7. We're really in a very basic pattern. Just find the back here, find the Shomanuchi here, and then just thrusting through here. And then just come in, we'll bring this into a Zengo here. So go to the back, cutting Shomanuchi, finding the ski. So each time, Shomanuchi, ski. Shomanuchi, ski. It's nice and calm. Hips really stable. And then we'll look at the handwork. This is a question of the hips as well. So what you want, you're going really into a position where the hips are engaged, grounded, and you find a really strong grab with this. Now, as I move again, I need that to release. So I need the handwork to really be soft again. So there's a sense really of going to a kind of, in a sense, a kind of hard position, not in a sense of rigidity, but just in a sense of being solid here. And then you go into a kind of fluid position, and then back into a fixed position here. But there really needs to be this sense of release through the movement into the ski. So just have the sense you're in a nice solid position, and then it's fluid, and then it's fixed, fluid, and then fixed. So just think of a kind of softening through the handwork, and a softening key in the whole body. So the hands are a kind of reflection of the whole body. So if I'm clinging on, if I'm out of balance, it's going to be reflected in the sword, basically being clinging into the sword in a way. So just have the sense of the balance is in the body, and then just release through it. Really slow. That's it. Nice. Good. Okay, there's sometimes a feeling that softness gets seen as kind of looseness. So in a sense, sometimes it becomes like this. In a sense, this is going into kind of this is like loosening the connection. This is where I really just lose the connection. So the arms just become disconnected from the center. So in a sense, think about flexibility. So you can think about softness in a sense of softening the body, but I also want a sense of elasticity through the whole body. So sometimes loose softness gets seen as kind of loose, but really think in terms of flexibility. The connection's still there. It's just softening. But here and then softening. But that everything's still really just connected. It's just connected in a soft way rather than a solid way. So here, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Good. Just a few. That's it. There we go. Good. Okay, we just finished with it in a kind of fluid way. So now just reach in the back, cut through, find the ski. Cut through, find the ski. So you're going to have the sense of impacting through the cut, and then straight away through into the ski. So it's the shonuchi, the ski. Cut thrust. Cut thrust, straight through this way. Let's give it a try. Last minute or so. Okay, good. And just last point, in this case, really become aware of the back. So because we're going fluid and it's kind of moving straight into the move, the tendency is, again, it's to kind of bring everything into the front. So everything's happening in the front. But just really try and get a sense of the back of the body, motivating the movement. So just get a sense of this. Now, if the hands have the sense of softening through this movement, the back has a chance to kind of initiate through the movement. If I don't really have that, I'll lose all the form to the front. So just think of the last few, just have this sensation of the back of the body. It's like a big mass from the back is pushing forward, pressing forward. This. Just bring all the awareness into the back of the body. Really a strong sense of extension, but grounded in the back. Yeah. Great. Good, and the last 30 seconds or so, just play with any movement, any curve. So you've got basic shomanuchi, yokomanuchi, ski. Just move and curve, and just get this sense of the whole body working together. So connected, grounded, and also look for a sense of calmness in the movement. Really calm, one cut at a time. Whatever movement you like. Nice. Very nice. Great. Okay, good. We'll stop there. Hi. どうもありがとうございました。
どうもありがとうございました。